Do you have a moment to talk? That moth priest, Dexian. He said we needed 2 other Elder Scrolls. I think I know where we can start looking. Half the people in your little crew would just as soon kill me as talk to me. That doesn't exactly make me want to open up. I got a warmer welcome from my father, and that's saying something. It's not a question of trust. He's just obsessed with the prophecy. And from what I could tell, 1,000 extra years of obsession haven't made him any better. I should have found him a hobby. I don't even think he sees me as his daughter anymore. I'm just a means to an end. We need to find my mother, Valerica. She'll definitely know where it is. And if we're lucky, she actually has it herself. The last time I saw her, she said that she'd go somewhere safe. Somewhere that my father would never search. Other than that, she wouldn't tell me anything. But the way she said it, someplace he would never search. It was cryptic, yet she called attention to it. If you have a better lead than this, I'm all ears. Besides, I can't imagine a single place my father would avoid looking. And he's had all this time, too. Any ideas? Wait, that almost makes sense. There's a courtyard in the castle. I used to help her tend a garden there. All of the ingredients for our potions came from there. She used to say that my father couldn't stand the place. Too peaceful. Oh, absolutely. But my mother's not a coward. That is, I don't think we'll actually trip over her there, but it's worth a look. True. But I know a way we can get to the courtyard without arousing suspicion. There's an unused inlet on the northern side of the island that was used by the previous owners to bring supplies into the castle. An old escape tunnel from the castle exits there. I think that's our way in. It's around the side of the castle. Let's move.
Hey, so far, I think. Thanks. Yeah, actually. No one's ever been so genuine with me. At least, in a while. I was lonely most of my childhood. My mother, at least for a time, was the only friend I really had. And then that prophecy came along. I'm sorry. I just had to get that off my chest. This is getting a little awkward. I think I have a sudden urge to feed on something. Gods, I am a terrible liar. Stop it. You're not helping. Don't blame me if I sneak a little nibble on you. Nothing escapes your attention, huh? Well, here goes. I've really come to care about you. I just wanted you to know that. Yes, I appreciate you. And that's all I'm going to say for now. You do? I'm glad to hear that. Let's get going then.
So, what's on your mind?
Yeah, actually. This might seem a bit heavy, but hear me out. What's your outlook on life? What gets you up every morning?
That's great to hear.
It gives me comfort that there are people like you out there, trying to do what you do. I'll be glad to help, if that's all right. What now? What do you mean? Well, I guess it's because I never felt that kind of thing was for me. I was always expected to act a certain way, and was never really asked if that was what I truly wanted. I always knew I was meant for more, not like one of those girls who felt pretty and stood inside their castles all day. And then things started getting icy between my parents. That basically hit the nail on the head for me, at least for how I wanted to live. I saw neither of them as role models after that. I'm glad you're here. Now that I think of it, there is. What brings you to Skyrim? I see. Well, for what it's worth, I'm glad to have you around. As my guide. Now, show me my homeland. Which, I don't even know that well anymore. My book knowledge helps, but not much.
Yes? What did you need?
I've always wondered what the Dwemer actually looked like. If one believes Nordsen, they were much like elves, but with beards. But what about young dwarves? Were they indistinguishable from, say, the Altmer then? Maybe there were other differences. Lighter skin tone, or tails? No. Why would they have tails? I don't know. Don't mind my rambling. It's just there's so many artifacts from their civilization, and yet we know so little. What did they look like? Where did they go? What now? Well, I do admire their fondness for the sea, as pirates, sailors, or adventurers of the open waters. I used to read stories and great tales of Redguard pirates, from the shores of Stros Mackay to the farthest reaches of the Abetian Sea. Especially the daring adventures of Jaik Talonwood. He was a little childhood hero of mine. So what do you say? Would you like to sail the open seas in pursuit of fame and the rarest treasures? I was kind of just playing around, but I like your enthusiasm. Maybe we should set sail for the coasts of Hammerfell sometime. After we're done with everything here in Skyrim.
I'm a little nervous about all of this. There's not a whole lot to tell. You've already seen my father's obsession. My mother's not a whole lot better, but you'll see that soon enough. It's not that simple. I guess it never is with families, is it? What about you? What were your parents like? I know how that feels. I mean, I know it isn't the same thing, but I was a pretty lonely child myself. Not as much. Let's just keep going. Yes? Before my father became obsessed with a prophecy, my mother and I spent quite a bit of time together. She was very fond of her alchemical garden in the castle courtyard. She taught me quite a bit about cultivating quality regions. Like the best of friends, I would never hesitate to share anything with her. It was very sudden. It was almost like one day we were a normal family, and then the next, I didn't know who they were. I'd try to visit my mother in the garden, and she'd quickly shoo me away, saying she was much too busy. She had to be up to something in that garden. I'm hoping it's a clue that will tell us where she went. Do you need something? An old jetty where boats would bring supplies to the castle. Once we moved in, it never got used, along with the rest of the Undercroft. We'll need to watch our steps inside. Can't wait. Yes? Dexian said something about that scroll. What was it? Something to do with dragons, I think. Maybe we should try asking at the College of Winterhold. Sounds like something they'd know about. I can't wait to see the courtyard again. I'll bet my parents didn't know the half of this part of the castle. I like to explore. My parents almost never let me off the island, so yeah, I poked around down here a lot. It was a little quieter back then. Guess a little vampire girl was enough to scare off the rats. It was. But I got used to it. Well, growing up the way I did, you get used to it. A little bit. That's one of the reasons I wanted to come with you. But what about you? Yeah. Is it just you, or do you have people in your life? Well, I guess now you have one more. Me too. Anyway, this is all very touching, but don't we have some more important things to worry about right now? I promise you, it didn't always look like this. If I had to guess, I'd say the moment Mother fled the castle, Father went on a rampage. Knowing him, anything at all that reminded him of her was just destroyed. It appears that way. I suppose he wanted to put the past behind him. Perhaps if he had spent more time with us, he would have recognized the beauty for himself.
Ahem. My fellow traveling companion, doesn't this courtyard look nice? It's serene in a certain way, and uniquely beautiful, like a certain... maybe. Well, actually, yeah, the garden actually didn't age well. No, I wasn't talking about you. Well, I was. Well, it's entirely possible. Now, enough of that. We got a job to do.
We're getting close, I'm sure of it. I'd always just assumed that the other tower was completely destroyed inside. My mother kept this a secret, even from me. She must have been up to something she thought was dangerous. Not that I ever saw. My mother had a bit of a thing for magical constructs. Not what you're thinking. She just found them fascinating. Let's take a look around. There has to be something here that tells us where she's gone. You found her journal! Let me take a look at it. I only know what she told me. She had a theory about soul gems. That the souls inside of them don't just vanish when they're used. They end up in the soul cairn. The soul cairn is home to very powerful beings. Necromancers send them souls and receive powers of their own in return. My mother spent a lot of time trying to contact them directly, to travel to the soul cairn itself. That circle in the center of the room is definitely some type of portal. If I'm reading this right, there's a formula here that should give us safe passage into the soul cairn. A handful of soul gem shards, some finely ground bone meal, a good bit of purified void salts. Ah, damn it. We're also going to need a sample of her blood, which, if we could get that, we wouldn't even be trying to do this in the first place. Not bad. We'd better hope that's good enough. Mistakes with these kind of portals can be... gruesome. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get started. Oh, good. Well then, let's head over to the portal vessel and I'll do the rest. Then the rest is up to me. Are you ready to go? I'm not entirely sure what this thing is going to do when I add my blood. Of course. What is it? I've been asking myself the same thing since we came back to the castle. She was so sure of what we did to my father. I couldn't help but go along with her. I never thought of the cost. Possibly. I guess even a vampire mother is still a mother. She worried about me, about all of us. But she wanted to get me as far away from my father as possible before he really went over the edge. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I just didn't expect anyone to care how I felt about her. Thank you. Are we ready then? All right, here goes.